naye nga sinnayogera ku kakiiko ako.
I want to thank God.
Njagala okwebaza Mukama Katonda.
Toa kabisa wewe, toa kabisa. I want to thank God for how He can use simple people
Njagala okwebaza Katonda olw'engeri gy'akozesa abantu mu ngeri ey'okusa ennyangu.
Abantu aba bulijjo to do things which last long.
Okukola ebintu ebiwangaazi.
When I come here and I see this mosque,
bwe nzija wano ne ndaba omuzikiti ogwo,
I feel very happy.
Mpulira essanyu.
Because, as you know, this mosque was not there.
Olw'ensonga nti omuzikiti ogwo edda tegwaliwo.
During Amin's time,
ku mulembe gwa Idi Amin,
all those villages,
era kati gavumenti eweereza obuwagizi bwa ssente mu buli.
I will mobilize 1 billion now and 1 billion in July next year.
Kati ngenda kubawa akawumbi kamu, akawumbi ak'okubiri nja kukabawa mu mwezi ogw'omusanvu ogw'omwaka ogujja.
And finally,
nga maliriza,
Kenyanji was talking about the transport.
Kenyanji abadde ayogera ku ntambula.
I will discuss with her on the phone. She will tell me what type of transport and I will see what I can do.
Nja kwogera naye ku ssimu ambuulire ekika ki eky'entambula ky'ayagala.
Congratulations on having...
Muyogeyoge bannange, muyogeyoge.
On empowering the women through the Women Council for the Muslim.
Olw'okuggulawo olukiiko lw'abakyala abasiraamu mu ggwanga muno.
Katonda ababeere.
May God bless you. Amen.
His Excellency President Museveni addressing a gathering at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council this very afternoon. President Faustin Archange Todera of the Central African Republic has arrived in Uganda for a 3-day official visit at the invitation of President Yoweri Museveni. The visit coincides with Uganda's 62nd Independence Day celebrations. Upon his arrival, President Todera, who was welcomed at State House Entebbe, where he met with President Museveni and a delegation of senior officials. The two leaders engaged in discussions on various bilateral, regional and international issues, reaffirming their commitment to peace, security and stability. Highlighting the strong ties between Uganda and the Central African Republic, the presidents emphasized the good and ongoing exchanges among senior officials to enhance economic cooperation. They discussed progress in military cooperation, including efforts related to the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration of former members of the Lord's Resistance Army and student exchange initiatives. The leaders acknowledged the untapped natural resources in both countries and directed their respective ministries to develop cooperative frameworks for harnessing these resources to benefit their citizens' socio-economic development. President Museveni expressed gratitude for President Todera's visit, and in response, President Todera thanked Uganda for the warm hospitality and extended an invitation to President Yoweri Museveni to visit the Central African Republic, which was graciously accepted, with plans for the date to be finalized through diplomatic channels. President Yoweri Museveni has expressed his willingness to mediate the ongoing conflict in Sudan, should both parties be open to his involvement. He made the statement during a meeting with the United Nations envoy for Sudan at State House Entebbe. The president reiterated his commitment to joining efforts to restore peace in Sudan, emphasizing that the root cause of the conflict lies in the promotion of identity politics, which destabilizes a country as diverse as Sudan. He urged the warring factions to agree to ceasefire and hand over power to the people of Sudan. The United Nations Special Envoy to Sudan, Ramtane Lamamara, assured President Museveni of the UN's full support in resolving the conflict. The UN envoy also highlighted the humanitarian crisis in Sudan, noting that while efforts have been made to secure localized ceasefires, fighting continues and civilians remain at risk. President Yoweri Museveni has urged the American business community to collaborate with local entrepreneurs to establish their own enterprises in Uganda. He stressed the importance of processing and adding value to the country's abundant but mostly perishable organic products. He also highlighted the significant tourism potential in Uganda and indicated that investors could expect returns of around 20% or more, particularly when exploring the nation's rich mineral resources such as iron ore, gold, phosphates, lithium and tin. Museveni noted that Uganda has partnered with various and private sector to create an export fund with low interest rates, allowing those with orders to avoid relying solely on commercial banks. He encouraged the American business community to seize this opportunity, mentioning that in 2018, Uganda and 53 other African nations committed to establishment of a unified market to reduce trade fragmentation. He pointed out that East Africa has made significant progress towards a common customs union and a unified market, and is advancing towards a shared currency and political federation among its 8 countries. He emphasized that this represents a historic opportunity for Africa to operate as a unified market since the colonial era. His remarks were delivered by Vice President Jessica Alupo at the opening of the Pan-African Business Forum at the Speak Resort, Munyonyo.
Africa does not need any aid. We have all it takes. We simply need partnerships to add value and building the manufacturing capacity and provide wealth and jobs. I encourage some of you who I have heard are investing in the computer assembly and parts of manufacturing, and those who want to work on data systems with our NITAU to press hard. We will support you. I will be meeting you on Thursday this week, and I hope I can give you our local names as a sign of our hospitality and lasting friendship. So I thank you for your kind attention. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda.
Business Forum organized under the theme, the diaspora, overcoming, navigating the next 100 years.
This market is highly competed for. Nobody really cares where the product is coming from. What they care about is good, it's very well priced, and it's consistently available. So we can't compete with Colombia or Peru. These are near the US. So our way to deal with this is to give companies 6 months worth of sales before they pay.
Thank you so much.
7. We thank you so much for watching. It's UBC News Tonight, and we still continue with News Tonight. We apologize for that some sound glitches in that story, but we're going to rectify it, and in our next bulletin, it will be bettered. The Law Development Center has questioned the intentions of the proposed legislation to change the method of selecting the leader of opposition in Parliament. The LDC presented its position to the Parliamentary Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, emphasizing that if enacted, the bill would weaken political competition and also undermine democracy. Paul Mochiwi, the head of the Department of Law Reporting, Research and Law Reforms at the LDC, stated that the administration of Parliament Amendment Bill of 2024 is not necessary at this time.
The Law Development Center has joined a growing number of critics challenging the controversial administration of Parliament Amendment Bill 2024.
So our view is that the law has no problem as is now, and this bill does not add anything.
The head of Department of Law Reporting, Research and Law Reforms at Law Development Center informed the Parliamentary Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs that the bill does not specify what issues it intends to address. The committee is chaired by Stephen Barker, Member of Parliament for Bukoli North County.
They warned us that it could also be a potential for causing confusion in the opposition, whereby smaller parties in the opposition could gang up with some forces to foil the work of the leader of the opposition in Parliament.
The move of the bill has not concretized the problem, because the problem would be the parties are not represented in terms of leadership. Here we have a leader of opposition who comes from the political party with the majority members of Parliament, and that is what party dispensation is all about.
Michana South MP Richard Lumo, the mover of the bill, expressed that the leader of opposition may be removed from office on grounds of incompetence. However, the LDC and other MPs question how this would be achieved.
How are you determining incompetence of a leader of opposition? How do you determine misbehavior? Does misbehavior mean I don't agree with your political views? Because that is predominant what a leader of opposition is supposed to do. Does incompetence mean I'm opposing whatever you bring? It is not clear, and therefore determining that.
The LDC concludes that the proposed new legislation will diminish democracy in Uganda, thereby weakening political competition.
The parties will even cease to have a reason why they should have enough representation, as opposed to merely having anybody to represent them in Parliament.
Opposition parties, UBC and Democratic Party, have working agreements with the NRM government, leading MPs to question how the elections of the leader of opposition, according to the Lumo bill, will proceed in such an environment.
So how do you then allow them to come and vote for a leader of the opposition, yet they're already serving the leader of the government business? That is divided loyalty, and it can create confusion.
Meanwhile, some stakeholders have described the bill as premature, that the mover always adds sections that have not been captured by the clerk to Parliament.
So we have asked the committee clerk to ensure that the extra amendments proposed by the mover is also brought to the attention of the stakeholders.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
President Yoweri Museveni officiated at the 26th National Prayer Breakfast at State House in Entebbe, stating that prayer movement has enabled the NRM to win in Luwero. The founders of the National Prayer Breakfast have been advised to promote the spirit of unity and underlie its objectives.
The 26th National Prayer Breakfast attracted leaders from various levels, including clergy from all denominations and international diplomats, were at State House Entebbe in the presence of President Yoweri Museveni and First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni. President Museveni emphasized that Uganda was damaged by kings fighting each other before colonialism, while church leaders were engaged in the wrong battles. However, the National Resistance Movement managed to repair the country and restore unity.
I want you to really push the spirit of the prayer breakfast, which is the spirit of Ruwero. Because we were able to succeed in Ruwero because we brought everybody together around good things. Samaritan, who saved the injured man, that's what God wants. What we do, not what we say, not what we appear to be, or where we belong, but what we do.
First Lady Janet Museveni prayed for the repentance of Ugandan leaders, noting that there is a sectarian attack aimed at undermining the foundation of families in Uganda.
We know that the sin of corruption is eating away at our structures and systems and destroying us from within. We recognize all this and bring our repentance to you today on behalf of the entire nation.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, appealed to the people of Uganda to remain steadfast and uphold the country's principles and family values.
Of Parliament of Uganda, we want to promise you we will be resolute in ensuring that we make laws that protect the foundations of God. No amount of intimidation will deter us from doing what is right for humanity.
The keynote speaker from Nigeria, Apostle Isi Igenegba, founder of the Mantle of Deborah International, stated that foundations break due to disobedience, idolatry, and cultural assimilation.
If we at this time assimilate demonic cultures from nations that do not fear God, what we are doing is that we are programming the generations of Uganda for weakness. And so by the power of the Holy Spirit, we declare that we will not receive any satanic culture that will limit our future. We will not assimilate demonic positions that would disqualify the future of this land from carrying on.
The 26th National Prayer Breakfast was held ahead of the 62nd Uganda Independence celebrations due October 9th in Busia. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan LUKOMWA in Entebbe.
Preparations for this year's Independence Day celebrations in Busia district have been finalized, with everything set to welcome dignitaries led by President Yoweri Museveni at Busiho Primary Teachers College playgrounds for the event, and that's tomorrow. As of now, Busia district is fully charged and ready for the celebrations.
All roads will be leading to Busia district for the official celebration of this year's Independence Day.
The Secretariat has organized this parade of border riders, and we are going to cover all the 20 sub-counties that make Busia district. The essence of this parade is to create awareness to the general public that we have a very big event. We are celebrating a very historical event in Busiho on 9th of October.
Just hours away from the event slated to take place at Busiho Primary Teachers College, a section of the Busia community is drumming up preparations, mainly from the National Resistance Movement Party.
One of the serious issues is the issue of fishing. The issue of how the forces treat the people and they do not have what to use. So these are the issues that we do have. We have written reports to obviously the Commander-in-Chief to inform him of some of these challenges, but that is the most pressing issue. But we are already working on it with the Minister of State for Fisheries and also the Minister for Agriculture. They are already in talks with our people, first of all, to sensitize them.
At the venue in Masaf Sub-County, all is set for the big day.
The 62nd Independence celebrations, it came as a dream, but it is now a reality. It has matured into what exactly we want now. Too many activities, very exciting. The parade is already here. It has been rehearsed. It is still moving on, and it is so marvelous, right from 3-4 days ago when they started rehearsing here. So things here are so many activities. Parade is one of them. The public is very excited. We go along the road, a lot of businesses going on.
This is the first time Busha District is hosting the National Independence celebrations, and this year, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will officiate as the main celebrants.
But Busia people have a lot to thank government for, because previously there is a very beautiful road you must have come with. That is the road that connects us from Musita via Mayuge, Namayingo, back to Busia. They would give you an example that a few months or a few years ago, before that road was tarmacked, it would take you precisely 2 hours for you to move from here, Massaf Town Council, to just a stone throw away, Busia Municipality. But as we speak, this distance is now 7 minutes, a to and fro journey for people who are living and working along this route. So we have a lot to thank the government for. The government interventions, first of all. NRM is a party that has not given up on ensuring that we register prosperity for all.
Story compiled by Sando Martini for UBC News.
Uganda People's Congress Party President Jimmy Akena has warned the ruling National Resistance Movement about economic programs which he claims have failed to benefit the citizens of Uganda since independence. Akena stated that true liberation remains distant under the NRM, emphasizing that the 2026 elections will determine whether Ugandans still support this style of governance. Ahead of independence, he urged Ugandans to reflect on the nation's origins and the dreams that inspired the founding fathers.
The economy of Uganda was supposed to benefit the citizens of Uganda, not the citizens to benefit the economy. These days people talk about money, 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 but where is the money coming? Is it working for the citizens? We boast about fish exports, but around the fishing communities, all around the lakes, they are finding malnutrition because people can no longer afford the cheapest protein, which was fish. I propose that the dual exchange rate be unified at on 15th June 1984 at a rate to be struck at the auction on that day. Meaning those who are bidding for the dollars, it was going to be the market which would determine from June 1984. People who came out to the bush in 1986 fixed the exchange rate. Today, they're behaving like the fathers and mothers of liberal market economy. That is nonsense. 2026 is not going to be business as usual. 2026 is going to be a serious conversation about the future of the citizens of Uganda. What benefits them? How can we raise the standards? How can we improve on what was done? Not to misrepresent history, but to organize ourselves to be the determinant of the future of the citizens of Uganda. So, warning is out that this revision of history is not going to stand.
The security situation in Uganda from the times of independence to present, one key aspect that stands out is the professionalization of the Ugandan forces to prevent the mistakes of the past. The insight comes from an exclusive interview with Andrew Gashanga Tindikawa, a retired soldier who has closely observed and documented Uganda's political and security journey since independence.
By coincidence, the British Army officers came to address us at school.
Andrew Gashanga Tindikawa is a former student at St. Leo's College Chegobe in Fort Portal, was recruited into the British Army in the early 1960s.
At the end of it, I asked Captain Booth if I joined, would I do my O-level? He said, oh yes.
He tells UBC how the Ugandan army was prepared to usher in a new government, yet responsibilities for securing the nation placed in the hands of an incompetent force.
Because just as we're entering the independence period, that's when they thought of sending a cadet to train as an officer. Prior to that, a few months before, they promoted the illiterates, commissioned them. What was in the mind of the British or the Ugandans, I don't know.
Tindikawa says that it seems as if we have learned nothing from our harsh history.
That Ugandans don't learn from history. We are continuing committing the same mistakes we committed in 65, 66, 71, 79. Nobody could think the UNLF could fall into the same trap.
But what are these mistakes?
What destroyed Obote 1 was that factor. A lot of regionalism, a lot of religious sentiments, then the personal interest. For example, Amin was a very good soldier. As soon as he was brought into the political arena, and then getting a lot of money from Congo via gold and ivory, we went into that problem.
While some may urge that Uganda has made significant strides in defense operations and capabilities since independence, particularly under the NRM government, Tindikawa holds a different view.
We may say UPDF is disciplined because it is not committing certain things. But then, if President Museveni is not there, tell me what would happen to that discipline.
He is concerned that the current People's Army, the UPDF, is gradually stepping back, suggesting that its leaders may be forgetting the past.
The moment you put them in power, so it becomes political also. I thought a professional army would influence decision through the Army Council rather than in Parliament.
As Uganda prepares to celebrate its 62nd independence anniversary on 9th October 2024, Tindikawa is skeptical about whether the current democratic players can usher in a country's new change in what he terms as the past dark history of mutiny.
When President Museveni created it, it's very difficult for another one to rule this country stably in the near future. Of course, it is negative. We would want change, but change for what?
He draws parallels with the short-lived governments of Yusuf Lule and Godfrey Binaisa, asserting that without a strong army, no civilian government can maintain stability in Uganda, even after the NRM government.
Lule became president. He went in 68 days, simply because he didn't have an army. Binaisa takes over. He goes, he didn't have an army. In other words, we have fronted the army in the management of state power. Number two, I think he should have created some lieutenants to take over.
But can an election provide Uganda the future it deserves, or give it an alternative? This is a question he answers so silently.
If the opposition is squabbling among themselves, what would happen if they form the government?
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire! Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! As Uganda Crane showed Congo why nobody is called a Katino! Mayuwa wa mubiri Gabuli Joe! Katika Uganda Crane 6 on South Sudan on the 11th of October. Bring more fire and support even harder Nambole. Dial *165*20# or go to buy ticket on the Momo app to get your discounted ordinary ticket at 20k on Momo. And it comes with a free train ride to Nambole. Cash is 25k. Game starts at 7 p.m. The first 2 Nel special beers go for 1k each when you buy with Momo at MTN Gavut Day. Uganda Queen's Fire! MTN Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda's football. Together, truly unstoppable.
To help businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19, government introduced a tax amnesty through a waiver of interest and penalty on outstanding principal tax as at June 30th, 2023. Accordingly, URA has since July 2024 been implementing this waiver. To benefit, simply pay your outstanding principal tax by December 31st, 2024, and the waiver is applied automatically upon payment confirmation. This amnesty applies to domestic taxes, namely income tax, rental tax, payee, and others. Grab this golden opportunity today. For more, use the platforms displayed.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn, and hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF. Uganda Manufacturers Association celebrates 30 years of industrial excellence. Come and be part of the 30th UMA International Trade Fair at LUKOMWA from the 2nd to the 10th of October. We celebrate 30 years of industrial excellence with an education pavilion, an agricultural pavilion, and a job skills development pavilion for job seekers. There will be lots of fun, entertainment, and business opportunities. Come and be part of this great journey and milestones. Entrance fee is only 10,000 shillings. If you want an exhibition stall, call +256 0703 552 444 or visit the UMA website, powered by Total Energies, Hisense, Smart Tech, and Stanbic Bank.
For watching and welcome back from the break. Ministry of Lands discovered that several title deeds were obtained fraudulently, while others were marred by double titling and overdue records. While in Mukono Municipality, the head of the ministry's zonal office in Mukono, Doreen Tumushabe, announced that over 500 land titles will be cancelled following an audit. This action was prompted by findings from the Land Information System.
We highlighted the extent of land title issues, particularly in Mukono Municipality, where plots 530, 190, and 193 were found to have numerous irregularities. She assured that the process of reviewing and cancelling the problematic titles would take about 2 months.
We published in the newspapers those titles to be affected, but we published a list of 550 titles that we consider to be double. But in this, we were inviting people for a public hearing, such that we hear both sides of the people holding these titles. Who is the rightful owner? When you appear in court, court listens to two sides.
The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, attended the event as the chief guest and emphasized the government's commitment to upholding the land laws. He warned that any title deed acquired through fraudulent means would be revoked.
Now, municipality,
And the blocks 50, 530, 190, 193 covers virtually the entire, at least before it became a municipality, the entire town. Central region is single yonna. Kakati value a single yam. You can imagine nti ebyapa mukono kwetudde nga ebyapa nga munana bili ku kyapa kimu. A lot of money has been lost because of this double titling and because of the manual information system, manual land recording ebaddewo. Kubanga file olyagibuuza naye kato tekikyakolebwa. Kakati what has happened now, because of the system, all this double titling.
He also pointed out that the new land information system is critical in preventing future fraud, stating that it would ensure fake titles are not accepted.
Order ya president, you have usurped his authority. Order ya president in a force of law. Kubanga jikola ngaita mwatiko chena mwenda sabatiko 1, 2 and 3 egama chowiza bona buli mikono ja president mukisera kino yeyo ilikakuta Museveni.
The Mukono RDC Hajat Fatuma Farida Ndibasa noted that land scandals in the area were exacerbated by the actions of local officials known as Abatongole. She appealed to the minister to take action against these officials.
The land officers to do thorough due diligence before issuance of titles on already titled land. This will reduce double titling. Coordination and clear streamlining on roles of all entities, i.e. ULC, district land boards, desk offices that always the president allocates or assigns responsibilities to work on land issues.
The Mukono Mayor Mukasa Mkoyo also commented on the situation, stressing the urgency of addressing land-related challenges in the district.
Nga meya wange wa Nuupu naye baagala twala ettaka ly'abantu family z'abadde satwa n'okola order RDC muyimiriza abantu mu kitereezi nawo ne yabayimiriza. I'm very happy to yanziza.
The Mukono Mzo, along with similar offices in Wakiso and Bukalasa, handles 85% of the country's land transactions. The ministry aimed to extend the land information system to 22 other land offices to enhance efficiency and transparency.
Now, in our third part of the 60-second independence series, we look at how the British colonial government expanded its authority to other regions after signing the 1900 Buganda Agreement. Timothy Sibasi looks at how instrumental were the Buganda collaborators in the conquest of Bunyoro Kingdom, again used by the white men to expand their rule beyond the territorial boundaries of Buganda Kingdom.
After the signing of the 1900 Buganda Land Agreement, the British colonialists desired to move beyond Buganda and control other parts of Uganda. The role of British African loyalists and collaborators like Semeika Kungulu, Sir Apollo Kagwa and many others in entrenching, colonizing Buganda first and weakening Bunyoro Kingdom from all spheres couldn't be underestimated in the expansion of the British colonial authority to other regions that had constituted Uganda in the signing of the Heligoland Treaty that saw Germany at the end recognizing Uganda as a British territory. We trace the origin of Semeika Kungulu, who is perceived not to have been a Muganda.
Semeika Kungulu was one of the chiefs here in Buganda, although he is not originally in Buganda. Semeika Kungulu was from Kochi originally, from Koki, from the Koki Kingdom, who are the Babito. And by extension, you can say these are Banyoro.
Though not a Muganda, Semeika Kungulu had spent a lot of time in Buganda working with the British colonialists and had mastered their way of doing things. He was assigned the mission to expand the British colonial authority and doctrine in eastern and northern Uganda, a mission he honorably executed while he moved with a large force conquering territories across River Nile before he settled in Busoga.
But by the time of colonial conquest of Buganda, Simeir Wachirenzi Kakunguru was here in Buganda. And therefore, he was representing Buganda in that context. So he participated in fighting Kabarega, and thereafter he was used now to pacify, to conquer, if you want, the Lango area and Teso and Bugisu up to Busoga.
Semeika Kakunguru's turning point with the British colonial masters was after consolidating Busoga and reorganizing the administrative structures of Busoga chiefdom for British rule that the white men perceived him as an over-ambitious man who would turn out to be problematic to the British colonial government.
The one who formed Busoga Ruchiko is the one who actually amalgamated the different chiefdoms, 11 chiefdoms of Busoga, into Busoga territory, and he became the president of Busoga Ruchiko. But when he wanted to claim that he was the overall authority in Busoga, the British discarded him, actually demoted him. He became frustrated, and he turned to religion, Bamariki religion, just to vent his frustration.
At the time of his death, Semeika Kakunguru had settled in the Elgon Ranges in present-day Mbale district.
He finally settled in Mbale. As we talk now, his family or his offsprings are there in Mbale.
The British authority was expanded into Bunyoro Kingdom by Baganda chiefs and fighters at the height of Bunyoro's resistance of the British rule. The arrest of Omkama Kabalega by the British force was the last nail on the coffin of Bunyoro's resistance against the British rule. The likes of Katikiro Sir LUKOMWA played a significant role in the conquest of Bunyoro Kingdom.
Kagwa was used to rule Buganda, but also to pacify Buganda if you want, to control Buganda effectively, put it under British rule, produce cash crops under comparison. After that, he was dismissed by a resident, a small boy who probably had risen to the rank of a house captain in England, dismissed Kagwa.
Sir LUKOMWA, who had enjoyed a lot of privileges both from the British colonial government and Kabaka Mwanga to the extent of wanting to claim the monarch, his fallout with the colonial government was bad. His prominence was perceived to be a threat by the colonial government and was sacked by a junior colonial military officer.
Kagwa was later discarded. He was dismissed by a British colonial official, is called the resident, who probably the highest rank he had had when he was in Britain was to be a house captain. He dismissed a whole Kagwa, the Prime Minister of Buganda, who thought he was very powerful. He told him to pack his bags and go to his man.
The expansion of the British authority in Kigezo region was first spearheaded by Baganda Muslim chiefs who formed resistance from a cultural leader who ruled the Kigezo chiefdom at the time, and the British colonial government opted for signing protectorate treaties with the Kigezo chiefdom.
They annexed or amalgamated different chiefdoms and kingdoms. So Ankole is a British creation. It is not original tradition. So what came to be Ankole with Ero, because it was a Uganda corruption with Ero, but Ankole don't use Ero in that sense, they use R. There was a kingdom of Nkole under the Bahinda, and then there were other kingdoms or chiefdoms under different rulers and dynasties. All these were forced to be under the king of Nkole, the small kingdom Nkole, of Bahinda. The rest were forcefully annexed to Nkole to form the bigger Ankole. And partly that's why those people, the people in Ankole still resist the restoration of the kingdom of Ankole.
Like in Kigezi chiefdom, a similar situation occurred where Baganda Muslim chiefs that had been sent by the British colonial government were resisted in Ankole. The option of signing a protective treaty with Omugabe of Ankole was the best option for the colonial government. A final deal was arrived at and the treaty was signed.
So was Toro, because Toro proper was Brahia and other neighboring areas, The other areas of Kasese and Bundubujo had not yet been under proper Toro Kingdom rule. Even Toro itself had been a splinter group of Bunyoro. In fact, by the time the British came, the Gerard Potos and all that whose name Fort Poto is called, Kasagama had been defeated by Kabalega, and Kabalega had reclaimed Toro province back to Bunyoro, and Kabalega had taken refuge here at the Kabaka's court in Mengo here.
Toro Kingdom was among the last territories to sign a protectorate treaty under the initiative of Sir Gerard Poto, who had established a military fort that weakened Kabarega's Abalisura mercenary force that was advancing to reclaim Toro Kingdom from Sagama back to Bunyoro Kingdom. However, the protectorate treaty between Toro Kingdom and the British colonial government had contestations from marginalized minority ethnic tribes of Bakonzo, Bamba and other minorities who claimed that were not party to the treaty signed and needed the British colonial government to approach them separately.
When the British went there, they amalgamated the Bakonzo, the Toro, the Basongora, the Banyabindi, the Bamba. They were all put under Toro Kingdom under one ruler, the ruler who happened to be a Mutoro. And that is why that historical inequality has been challenged and contested. Hence, the challenges you have in the Wenzo region.
This mistake committed by the British colonial government in the signing of the Toro Kingdom Protectorate Treaty has remained a permanent scar on the minority tribes of Bakonzo, Bamba, Basongora, Banyavindi and Bachenga that has witnessed political and cultural tensions in the Rwenzori region to date, leading to bloodshed and mayhem. Timothy Sibasi, UBC TV.
Brought to you by download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanaoli.
Uganda, thank you for showing your fire! As Uganda showed Congo why nobody is called a Katino! Mayuwa wa mubiri Gamulijo! Getting the Uganda Green section South Sudan on the 11th of October. Bring more fire and support even harder Nambole. Just a 165*20# or go to buy ticket on the Momo app to get your discounted ordinary ticket at 20k on Momo. And it comes with a free train ride to Nambole. Cash is 25k. Camp starts at 7 p.m. The first 2 nail special beers go for 1k each when you buy with Momo at MTN Gavut Day. Uganda Cranes Fire! MTN Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda's football. Together, truly unstoppable.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy, Wanawoli.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Indomie Instant Noodles is available in 3 flavors of chicken, beef, and vegetable. Buy your Indomie Instant Noodles in supermarkets and dukas near you anywhere across Uganda. Indomie Instant Noodles, Uganda's best loved noodles.
Go straight to sport. Uganda's under-20 national football team, the Hippos, has kicked off the African Cup of Nations under-20 qualifiers in Dar es Salaam with a winning start. Goals from Godfrey Sechibengo, Swabir Mpasa and Innocent Chisolo secured a 3-0 victory over Ethiopia. The team will face Burundi tomorrow, followed by a match against South Sudan on Friday to complete the Group B games.
What I can say, we have played under our performance, that is it. Only that the opponent we've been playing according to the way how has been playing tactically. They wanted to start to build from the back, you know, Ethiopia, the people who are playing tic-tac, so they wanted to play tic-tac from, so they were taking big time with the ball. So for us it was according to our game plan, we were ready to block them from midfield, but they took a big number of times playing from their area 1. So it has been an advantage for us. So by the time we are winning the ball, it was simple to reach to their goal.
Coach, we saw Ethiopia, just like you said, possessing the ball most of the times, but how did that Sechibengo first goal probably help you get into the game?
Yeah, Sechibengo's goal changed the game completely because they were sure that they are going to build from defense up to ours. So after shocking them, losing the ball from their quarter, and we score them, I think it gave us power to see that at least we can be in the game.
Uganda will host the first round of the Challenge League B tournament at the LUKOMWA and Entebbe Ovals from November 4th to the 16th, 2024. The Challenge League serves as a pathway to the 2027 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup, which will take place in South Africa, Zimbabwe and Namibia.
The Uganda Cricket Association has today launched the first round of the ICC Challenge League B to be hosted in Uganda starting the 4th of November. At the launch, the association also welcomed Nile Special as the tournament sponsor.
Say congratulations to Uganda Cricket Association and best of luck for the qualification for ICC World Cup. With those few words, I want to declare this launch open for God and my country.
It's a very crucial pathway for us to have the dream to play in the Cricket World Cup for a 50-over game. We've been knocking around, but every time we fall short. But this time round, if we continue with the pace, we continue with the performance that we've exhibited in respective tournaments like the World Cup, Trust me, we'll match winners of our league, and then we'll have a chance to play in the Mini Cricket World Cup before the final selection for the big games in Namibia, Zimbabwe and South Africa. That is 2027.
The way we support other sports, since this is an international tournament, we know Nile Special is made of Uganda, and we love it. We love to be involved in a sport where we are supporting our very own. So that is the only reason why we're involved, and we intend to also create an experience just like we've done in other sports.
The Challenge League B is a crucial pathway to the 2027 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup.
A World Cup pathway for associate nations, as we call ourselves. It is played over 3 legs, with the teams playing a round robin, and also you play a total of 15 games. So what happens after those 15 games, the top 2 teams from this group of 6 will qualify for the next level of the World Cup qualifier. So it is a 3-legged qualification pathway, and each team has an opportunity of using their home leg to their advantage. There are 6 teams. They are going to be playing a round robin, so we have an opportunity of having 5 home games, and if we win the 5, then it puts us in prime position against all our opponents.
The matches will be played at the Lugogo Cricket Oval and the Entebbe Cricket Oval from November 4th to November 16th, 2024. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
That brings us to the end of what we had for you at this point. We'll get back at 10 p.m. with another arrangement. Let's catch you then. Bye-bye.